And welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to share a housing market update for Austin, Texas, Dallas, as well as Houston, Texas. I'm going to share updates regarding home prices, price reductions, housing inventory, and much, much more. And by the way, I'll include timestamps below, so if you guys are only interested in Dallas, Texas, for example, you guys can fast forward. But let's first talk about Austin, Texas, and then we'll go over Dallas and then Houston. So I'm going to be sharing the latest trends for Austin right now. This is according to Redfin's data center for Austin, Texas again. So new listings in Austin, Texas are down by 12.2% from the same time period in 2021. So they had approximately 742 new listings that hit the market for the 4 weeks ending October 16th. In line with 2019, which is the blue bar right here, or the blue line. The orange line right here is 2021. I'm excluding 2020 because we had, of course, stay-home orders in the early parts of 2020. It was an absolutely abnormal year here. So in today's video, I'm going to actually exclude 2020 for the most part here. So new listings are down by 12.2% in Austin, Texas. Let's have a look at pending home sales, which of course is when a home seller accepts an offer from home buyer. Look at that. Pendings are down by, look at that, wow, down by 46% on a year-over-year basis. That's huge. Pendings have been falling greatly ever since right here, which is more or less May. So pendings have been falling greatly ever since May, and we really had a fewer pending home sales compared to 2021 ever since really March of this year. But really ever since May, pendings have been absolutely tanking, down by 46.26%. So I'm guessing because new listings are going down, pending home sales are going down greatly, almost down by 50%. I'm guessing that active listings, in other words, housing inventory, is up greatly as well. Let's have a look at that. Here's active listings. Look at that. That is absolutely phenomenal. Look at this. Up by 63% compared to 2021 at this time. Absolutely insane. So they have far more houses listed for sale compared to 2019 and a lot more compared to 2021. Look at that, up by 63%. So active listing inventory has been absolutely skyrocketing ever since really April and May of this year, when at that time we had more or less the same number of houses for sale, which is pretty astonishing to see this giant increase in active listings. One thing I do want to mention though is that for the past, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, approximately the past 2 months, active listings has been more or less stabilizing or plateauing. But despite this, active listings are still up by 63% on a year-over-year basis, which is absolutely insane. Let's look at price reductions according to altosresearch.com. That's altosresearch.com. The share of price drops in Austin, Texas, which by the way, they're reporting that in Austin, Texas, it's only a slight seller's advantage over home buyers right now. So look at this. The share of price drops here in Austin, Texas is at 62.32%. Absolutely insane. 1 year ago, it was 40%. Back in 2020, it was 33%. And pre-COVID back in 2019, it was only 46%. Now it's a staggering 62%. So what this means right now is that approximately 6 out of 10 houses listed for sale right now have already reduced their asking price. So more houses have, or more home sellers have dropped their asking prices than not. What's also remarkable is that the share of price reductions has more or less doubled over the past 5 months. Because a 7-day average as of June 3rd of this year was only 32%. And again, it has jumped to 62% right now. So I'm guessing because the share of price drops has been absolutely skyrocketing here in Austin, Texas, and also they're seeing a huge pullback in pending home sales, I'm guessing that home prices are decreasing. Let's have a look at that. Here's the median sold price in Austin, Texas, which is $478,000 right now, up by only 5% compared to 1 year ago. Look at this. Back in 2021, the year-over-year increase in home prices was 28%. That's absolutely insane. Now it's only 5%. I mean, what a difference 1 year makes. 1 year ago, home prices were up by 28% compared to 2020. Now they're only up by 5%. Look at this as well, because back right here, which is more or less April and May of this year, the year-over-year increase was around 24%. So they went from a 24% gain on a year-over-year basis back in April and May of this year. Now it's only 5%. Also, have a look at this because this is absolutely insane. I actually just ran some numbers here for you guys. Again, the median sold price right now is $478,000. Back in more or less May, the 4 weeks ending May 22nd, that was the all-time record high at $574,000 was the median sold price. In other words, over the past more or less 5 months, home prices or the median sold price has decreased by $96,000. That is a whopping 16.7% decrease in the median sold price over the past 5 months alone. Let me repeat that because that's absolutely insane. The median sold price in Austin, Texas has decreased by almost 17% since May of this year. So it appears the housing market in Austin, Texas is really going through a shift right now, given the fact that home buying demand is decreasing, given the fact that pending home sales are down about 46% on a year-over-year basis, and also the share of price reductions is over 60%. Also, home prices decreasing by 17% over the past 5 months here. The days on the market right now is 47 days. Compare this to 1 year ago, it took approximately 30 days to sell a house. In other words, it's taking home sellers on average approximately 17 days longer to sell their house compared to last year. And also something worth mentioning as well is that 47 days is also far above 2019's levels as well, because back at this time in 2019, it was 34 days. Now it's 47 days. Let's also look at the average sale to list price ratio, which is right here. Average sale to list price ratio. Look at that. Right now, the ratio is at basically more or less 98%. So on average, home sellers selling their houses for approximately 2% below their asking price. 1 year ago at this time, they were selling it for 2% over their asking price. Look at this. Back in April, more or less, home sellers were selling their houses for about 6% over their asking price. So from this time frame right here, which is the 4 weeks ending May 1st, home sellers were selling their houses for 6% over. Now the average is actually 2% below their asking price. This is also well below the peak we saw in the spring months of last year. So back then, houses were selling on average for about 10% more than their asking price, which is of course vastly different than 2% less right now. Okay, let's change gears slightly and talk about the Houston housing market here. New listings in Houston, Texas are down by 7.7% compared to the same time period last year. So new listings are down about 7.5% or about 7.7% from last year. So let's look at pending home sales. Look at that. Pendings are down by 34.51%. Not as much as Austin, Texas, but still down big time, down by about 35% on a year-over-year basis, and also has been decreasing really ever since May of this year as well. So I'm guessing because pending home sales are down greatly from last year, I'm guessing that active listings, which again is housing supply, is up big time. Let's look at that. So right now, active listings are up by 24.15% compared to the same time period 1 year ago. We're actually below levels back in 2019 though, because at this time in 2019, there was approximately 31,000 houses for sale. Now there's 25,000. 1 year ago, it was about 20,000. Interesting to note that over the past couple of months here in Houston, Texas, the inventory levels is basically plateauing as well. But I'm guessing that despite this plateauing effect of active listings, price reductions is probably through the roof as well. Probably not as high as Austin, Texas, but let's have a look. Houston, Texas, according to altosresearch.com, the share of price drops right now is 47%. Not as high as Austin, Texas, but still much higher compared to the past few years here. Because back in, let's say, April 22nd, the share of price drops was only approximately 29%. Now again, it's 47%. 1 year ago, it was about 40%. Back in 2020, 41%, and pre-COVID, it was around 49%. So it's interesting to see that the share of price drops right now is more or less on par with pre-COVID levels back in 2019. Again, about 49%, and now the share is only 47%. But again, the share of price drops is much higher compared to 2020 and of course 2021. Let's look at home prices in Houston, Texas though, because I'm guessing that prices are actually going down. Let's have a look at that. Here's the median sold price in Houston, Texas. Look at that. Still up by 11% on a year-over-year basis. Again, the average for home price gains on a yearly basis is in the range of 3 to 6%, and of course, not 11%. So home prices are really holding fairly steady over the past several months now, still up by 11%. Let's look at last year's levels though. Last year at this time, home prices were up about approximately 13 to 14% on a year-over-year basis. So right now the median sold price is at $335,000. The peak was right here, which is more or less May, when the median sold price was $353,000. So by my math right here, the median sold price in Houston, Texas has decreased by $18,000 since May, or a 5% decrease. Now again, compare this to Austin, Texas. This is vastly different because again, in Austin, Texas, the median sold price decreased by $96,000 and was down by 16.7% from the same time period. Okay, let's change gears again and talk about the days on the market in Houston, Texas. So the median days on the market in Houston is 28 and a half days. Compare this to 1 year ago, the median days on the market was approximately 17 days. So right now it's taking approximately 12 days longer to sell a house compared to the same time period in 2021. However, though, it's worth noting that the days in the market right now at more or less 29 days is far less compared to 2019 at this time, because in 2019, it took around 46 days to sell a house. Let's also have a look at the average sale price to list price ratio in Houston, Texas. Wow, look at that. The ratio right now is more or less 98%. So houses are selling for approximately 2% below the asking price. Compare this to 2021, houses were selling for about 1% less. And the peak this year was more or less around April and May of this year, when houses were selling for about 1% over the asking price. And again, they're selling about 2% below right now. And lastly, let's talk about the Dallas housing market to see what's going on there. So new listings are down about 4% year over year. So they have approximately 1,400 new listings for the 4 weeks ending October 16th, only down about 4% compared to 1 year ago. Let's look at pending home sales though. That's right. Redfin, for whatever reason, doesn't provide the number of pending home sales, but here's what they do provide though. They provide listing updates for pendings. So listing updates, in other words, moving from a house for sale to when the seller accepts an offer from a home buyer. In other words, moving from active status to pending home sale status. So pendings are down by 31% on a year-over-year basis. So we're seeing this pullback in home buying demand here in Dallas, Texas, because pendings are down by 31%, down compared to 2019 as well as 2021. So let's have a look at active listings or housing supply in Dallas, Texas. So according to Redfin right now, the number of houses for sale is up by 32.55% from 2021. But active listings has been more or less declining over the past couple of months, which is interesting to see. What I found to be interesting as well is that in Dallas, Texas, there's approximately 14,000 houses for sale. Back in 2021, there was around 10,500. But back in 2019 at this time, there was over 21,000. Now again, there's only about 14,000 right now. So let's have a look at price reductions here in Dallas, Texas, according to altosresearch.com. So the share of price drops, according to them, is approximately 49%. This is much different compared to right here at the bottom, which is more or less March 28th, when the share of price drops is only 18%. Right now, the share right now is approximately 49%. Back in 2021, it was 43%. Back in 2020, 44%. And in 2019, at this time, it was actually 53%. So the share of price drops right now is a little bit higher compared to the past couple of years, but is actually less than 2019's levels. Let's have a look at home prices here in Dallas, Texas, though. Let's look at the median sold price here. Up by 13% on a year-over-year basis. The median sold price is $421,000. The peak was more or less right here, which was the 4 weeks ending June 5th of this year, when the median sold price was $464,000. Also check that out, because during that time frame, home prices were up by 23%. And right now, again, they're only up by 13%. Also, by my dumb math right here, the median sold price in Dallas, Texas from May has decreased by $43,000. In other words, prices have declined by 9% since May. This is obviously much higher compared to Houston, Texas, where prices have declined by 5%, but Austin, Texas is the winner here, declining by 17% since May of this year. Let's have a look at days on the market for Dallas, Texas. So right now, the median days in the market is approximately 33 days. So it's taking sellers approximately 12 or 11 days longer to sell a house compared to 2021. So the days on the market is more or less 33 days. Back in 2019, this time, it was approximately 48 days. Also, check this out because on January 1st, look at this. This year, the median days in the market was approximately 21 days. Back in 2021, it was 30 days. So it was taking approximately 10 days faster to sell a house on January 1st. Now it's approximately 11 days slower. Pretty wild to see our housing market shifts so much over the past several months. Let's look at the average sale price to list price ratio though in Dallas, Texas. Look at this. The ratio here is more or less 99%. So houses selling for about 1% less than their asking price. But look at this. During the spring months this year, the average was about 6% over their asking price. In other words, over the span of about 5 months, the average house was selling about 6% over the asking price. Now it's selling for about 1% less. This is also approaching 2019's levels as well, because back in 2019, the share really didn't fluctuate too much. It was around 98% for much of the year. And with that said, please comment below your biggest takeaways from today's video. Also, if you guys got any value in this video whatsoever, then please hit the like button. I really appreciate that. Hope you guys have an awesome day and look forward to seeing you on the next video.